just stripped of her small fortune. She ended up becoming the blind and premature villain of a Beast World novel. She was also tied to a system that forced her to have offspring. But the most devastating thing was that her fragile constitution from her past life also came with her. Now she was not only sickly, but also blind. Just as she was thinking of finding any beast partner to fulfill this, she turned around and saw the young lord of the wolf clan, piling up prey like a mountain. The great snake chief was stringing trophies on his fangs like a necklace. General Tiger on the side directly brought an entire forest as a dowry. Even the deep-sea mermaids knelt before her. Muyu, please become my mate. System notification. Host detected to be in mortal danger. The system will provide energy supply. Upon opening her eyes, she saw a boar-like animal approaching her. Muyu's mind went blank, but her body reacted faster than her thoughts. Rolling and crawling, she dodged the boar beast's charge. With a loud bang, the boar beast crashed violently into the mountain wall behind her, staggering like a drunk. Muyu got up and ran forward, with the beast behind her. The boar beast shook its dazed head and roared furiously. It had been hungry for half a season and had finally caught a lone chicken. It had to hunt her down. Heh, heh, heh. You're going the wrong way. Run fast this way. This way you might encounter the Son of Heaven. The next second, a virtual arrow appeared in front of Muyu. The arrow pointed to the left. Muyu turned without hesitation and ran with all her might. Meanwhile, not far from Muyu, a pair of bronze bell-sized pupils were watching her intently. This was a black wolf, and he had been there for a while. At first, he had noticed the small female lying in the snow. He thought she was already dead and had planned to bury her in a pit. He regretfully decided he would kill the beast that threw her to avenge her. To his surprise, she suddenly revived and was still dodging the boar beast's pursuit. The movement he had intended to make to save her also slowed down a bit. He wanted to see how far she could go against the boar beast's charge. However, the next second, he saw Muyu, unable to escape, grab a stone and throw it hard at the boar beast's eyes. She hit it and enraged it. This little one is playing with her life, the system thought as it saw the boar beast roar furiously. Its mind was screaming internally, "Damn it, will it be the first system in the world to just get bound?" Upon seeing the boar beast charging towards her, roaring, Muyu gritted her teeth and suppressed the fear in her heart. When the boar beast heard her, the protection sequence would be activated. She knew that with her own abilities, she couldn't defeat the boar beast, but she didn't want to die. She wanted a chance to survive. Muyu closed her eyes in fear, waiting for the pain. Suddenly, a deafening wolf howl resonated. She only felt a gust of wind coming from behind her. Immediately after, roars of beasts echoed in her ears. The system calmed its frightened code. Fortunately, your savior has arrived. A few seconds later, the roars ceased. A pungent smell of blood filled her nostrils. Muyu opened her eyes. What appeared in sight was a huge, black wolf, more than 2 meters tall. This wolf was staring at her. "What tribe are you from? Why are you out in the middle of winter?" Muyu's eyes widened. The wolf spoke. Muyu trembled and replied in a shaky voice, "I am. System notification. Host detected. Crisis resolved. Cutting off energy supply." Suddenly, everything went black before Muyu's eyes. Her body, out of control, collapsed gently in the snow. "At least let me finish talking." He was startled. With his huge wolf paw, he gently touched her. "Hey, wake up. Did this female die from my roar?" He quickly transformed into his human form. He carefully lifted Muyu and hurried back to his tribe for her to be healed. When Muyu woke up, she tried to see what the current situation was, but all she saw was a large, blurry patch of colors. She had forgotten her original poor eyesight. At first she could see clearly, only because of the system's supply. At that moment, a rustling sound came from the cave entrance. Muyu turned her head to look. What she saw was a small patch of color. In fact, it was a very cute child. When the cub met her gaze, he trembled, then his eyes lit up and he ran out. "Mommy, mommy, ah!" The animal skin loincloth he was wearing around his waist tore and fell off, making him trip and fall flat on his face. Muyu was startled by the noise. "Are you okay?" He didn't care. He ran out naked, shouting in a childish and noisy voice, "She's awake! Muyu!" She heard the sound of something moving at the cave entrance. Then a tall, dark figure entered. Nervously, she grabbed the skin covering her. "Are you the mother who saved me?" May your fox eyes see clearly. The person is a woman. "No." Linfin narrowed his eyes and walked over abruptly. "You can't see? But I remember when I first saw you. Your eyes were clear and bright, nothing like the empty gaze you have now. Muyu had been single for over 20 years since birth, and yet she was so close to someone. Her nose filled with the scent he gave off. He was warm and sunny like a sunflower. Muyu nodded. I'm not completely blind. I can still see a little bit. Linfen froze, looking at her with some compassion in his eyes. She must have been abandoned. Otherwise, considering how much women are valued in the tribe, they would never have let her go out alone in winter. Just at that moment, in his hands, he still held an old and worn wooden bowl with a hot meat meal. You've been unconscious for 3 days, Lin. Accept it all. Let's eat something first. Speaking of food, Muyu felt like she could devour an entire ox. Muyu fumbled to sit on the edge of the bed. Thanks, Grandma. Before Muyu could touch the wooden bowl, Linfen took it before her. He said stiffly, You can't see. As soon as the meat stew entered her mouth, Muyu froze for a moment. She thanked him in a low voice. Under the smiling gaze of the old healer, this meat is not cooked. Muyu anxiously opened her mouth and bit down. Her soft lips brushed against Linfen's fingers, making him blush instantly. Women's lips are very soft, and the meat. As the meat stew entered her mouth, Muyu's expression froze. A warm smell with a hint of blood exploded on her palate. This meat is not cooked! Her face instantly contorted. She wanted to vomit, but didn't want to dirty the healer's stone bed, so she covered her mouth tightly with both hands, forcing herself to try. But her throat rejected those foul pieces of meat, forcing her until her eyes reddened. Linfen's face abruptly changed. Reach out and pinch it. If you can't swallow it, spit it into my hand, Muyu. She gently pushed his hand away and shook her head desperately, but he immobilized her head, then squeezed her cheek. Muyu couldn't hold it in any longer and vomited into his hand. The old healer was also puzzled. She frowned and stepped forward to take some of the meat soup to eat. The taste is normal. It's the favorite food of females and cubs. How can she not eat it? It's not a problem with the stew. It's that I don't tolerate many foods. Muyu looked at Linfen with watery eyes and guilt. I'm sorry, your hand. Linfen hadn't imagined she couldn't even eat meat, but upon meeting her reddened eyes, he couldn't say a single harsh word. It's nothing. If you can't eat meat, I'll bring you something different. Muyu nodded obediently. She was afraid of eating cooked meat again. She quickly grabbed Linfen, who was trying to leave, and said, The female's soft hands made Linfen's ears twitch. He felt joy in his heart, but only said, I know the truth. I guess because you're so picky with food, that's why the tribe abandoned you in the wasteland. After all the commotion, Muyu finally ate hot roasted meat. As he gave it to her, Your body is very weak. When your mother was carrying you, you probably didn't reach full term, and you also spent so much time frozen. From now on, you must take good care of yourself. He examined her fertility. He frowned and sighed softly inside. Someone as weak as you, as an adult, you should have several beast husbands, otherwise you won't live long. Muyu froze for a moment. Only then did she remember that she would soon come of age. Linfen was roasting meat and discreetly perked up his ears. When he turned, he saw Muyu's astonished expression. This little female is worried about not being wanted by any male. Linfen pursed his lips and spoke. Don't worry, you are the one I chose to bring back. According to custom, you are my mate. When you come of age, we will pair up. You don't have to worry about me. I am a member of the tribe. This poor thing is fragile and sickly. She seems delicate and difficult to raise. Probably no other male will want her anyway. He has never found a mate he likes. It wouldn't be bad to settle for this poor thing. It was the first time a male had declared his love so audaciously to Muyu. She was stunned, and her face flushed. Instantly, a clear but slightly furious voice resonated. No, I don't agree. Linfen, you are my first destined husband. How can you want another female? Ruyan, it's so cold outside. How did you get here? My father knew that Linfen had picked up a woman from outside. Do you really prefer this monstrosity? I didn't expect that upon arriving, her somewhat vacant eyes would look at her, lost. She was extremely beautiful, Ruyan. Furious and anxious, she threw what she had in her hand to the ground with a bang, her voluptuous chest heaving. Why? I'm the most beautiful of all? You don't belong to me! Do you really prefer this monstrous wreck? She spoke as she turned her gaze back to the female on the stone bed. Her somewhat dull eyes looked at her, lost. She was extremely beautiful with a messy black mane falling down her back. Her skin was pale, the corners of her eyes slightly raised. Originally, they were captivating eyes, but the blindness added fragility and vulnerability. Her body is so fragile you could break her with one hand. This is too much. She looks like a porcelain doll. If you hit it hard, it will break. Ru Yan choked. After a long silence, she regained her voice and replied stubbornly, "This is this female's beast partner. Just by looking at her, she looks barren. Her fertility must be very low. I have wide hips. I'm fertile. Plus I have strength. I'm sure I'll give you many more cubs." That's a lie. I am the rescue system. You are my chosen one. How could your fertility be low? Host, hurry up, throw it to the ground, and do your thing ruthlessly. Give him cubs, give her a slap in the face, trademark. Muyu's expression, which had been enjoying the gossip before, instantly froze. She scratched the back of her hand, somewhat restlessly, holding back the urge to roll her eyes. Communicating with the system telepathically, if you want cubs, you have them. I'm not giving birth. Can't I procreate if the host doesn't give birth to a child? Mission impossible to complete. You'll continue to be weak and sickly. Muyu unconsciously scratched the back of her hand hard. What does this mean? You just have to complete the missions, give birth to a child of the strong's blood, and you will receive quite generous rewards. The offspring you conceive will also nourish your body, gradually healing your health. Muyu bit her lips, her gaze reflected complex emotions. She had no choice. Having a healthy body had been the desire of her past life, and in this beast world, being too weak means not surviving. I can complete the missions, but I have conditions. I will only give birth with someone I like. You also can't force me to mate with a high-level one. I hope you don't like me. Deal. Now the first mission is assigned. Form a pair with a 3-star intermediate rank wolf. Upon completion, you will receive a welcome package, a one-time talent draw, 150 points that you can use in the store to buy items. The shopping mall will be open when the host and the wolf beast form a company. In this world, beastly beings awaken their own innate abilities, but most of those who awaken them are males. Females are very few. Each one who awakens their innate talent possesses an extremely powerful fertility, backed by countless males. The original owner of the body had not awakened supernatural abilities. This mission reward is extremely tempting for Muyu. If she manages to obtain a gift with great offensive power, her chances of surviving in this beast world will increase. Muyu looked in Linfen's direction. It all depends on this beast wolf. Linfen keenly noticed her gaze. He instantly turned his head towards her. When he looked, he saw strange marks emerging on the back of her hand. Linfen advanced with a firm step and grabbed her hand. "What's wrong with your hand?" Muyu, startled, asked confusedly, "What's wrong?" She only felt a little itch and scratched. Someone came over to look. "There are many red bumps. You must have been stung by an insect weed. I'll prepare some medicine for you to apply, Ruyan." Furiously, she stomped her foot. It's not just that she was stung by an insect weed. It's that serious? Even if she says it out loud, her gaze involuntarily landed on Muyu's small, pale hands. Such skin. Those red marks certainly look a bit ugly. When Ruyan realized what she was thinking, her face instantly went livid. Had she gone crazy? How could she feel sorry for her rival? Linfen, feeling the slight struggle in her hand, asked Muyu, "Does it itch a lot?" Muyu nodded. "Then I'll tickle it for you." Muyu looked confused. "Isn't there still medicine? What is he basing this on?" The next second, she felt something warm and wet on her hand. Muyu's body instantly froze. Linfen was licking her hand. Muyu, as if she had gotten a cramp, tried to pull her hand away forcefully. No, there's no need, I'd rather endure it." Linfen held her hand firmly, not letting her pull it away. "When I was little, my mother told me, if you're bitten by poisonous weeds, use it again to make it itch. I don't know you. You can't despise my saliva either." Ruyan had never seen Linfen, the first of the tribe, treat a female with such care, even using his own saliva to help her. Using it again can cause itching, that she despised his saliva without consideration. If you don't want to use water, you can use mine. But let it be clear, I don't want to help you. I just can't stand you despising Linfen. Linfen's face changed as he squeezed Muyu's hand to prevent Ruyan from snatching it. "He is my male. Even if he doesn't like me, it's an honor for me." Is it possible that she doesn't want to use anyone's saliva? Just as the two beasts were about to fight, the old healer's voice was heard. I'm here! The medicine is ready." Muyu sighed with relief, discreetly. Without waiting for Linfen to speak, Muyu spoke up. "Elder Shaman, could you please bother to give me medicine? Could I bother you to help me apply the medicine?" She felt it gradually spreading on her back. She assumed her back must also be quite affected. It wasn't very appropriate to ask Linfen to apply the medicine. After all, she had just met him, and she was already half naked in front of him. It made her feel embarrassed. Linfen took the medicine with a dominant attitude. Grandma Healer is old, her eyesight is not good either. We shouldn't always bother the old lady. Besides, you are my female. We will live together later. When you need to apply medicine, will you also refuse? Oh yes, of course. She's old and her eyes are clouded. Muyu was speechless. She looked towards Ruyan with a certain plea. Although Ruyan couldn't stand this seductress who had charmed Brother Linfen, seeing her look at her with those pleading eyes, she couldn't help but feel a little tenderness in her heart. She was about to speak, but Linfen gave her a cold look. Ruyan's fur bristled instantly. I suddenly remembered I have something to do. I'm leaving first. With that, Ruyan transformed into her beast form and fled quickly. But on the other hand, the healer also had the grace to withdraw. Oh, the years are not forgiving. I'm a little tired after this busy morning. Linfen, you must take good care of your female. Muyu opened her mouth, her face slowly smiling. And you? Seeing the little female like that, a fleeting smile shone deep in Linfen's eyes. Annoyed, he said, no problem. Besides, I am your beast husband. Do you want me to touch you? Hearing this, Muyu said a soft, in a low voice. Go ahead! After saying that, Muyu, with a completely red face, shrunk under the beast skin. It was Linfen, whom she had only known for 3 days, who, with the gentlest touch of his life, applied medicine to her bare back. At that moment, outside the cave, a wolf's howl suddenly resonated. Chief Kabuta approached, carrying the already divided meat. This is the first time Linfen has brought anything back. I had to see it with my own eyes. His previously smiling face, upon learning of Muyu's low fertility, instantly filled with disapproval. For beastmen, the most important thing is the continuity of the lineage. A female without reproductive capacity only serves as comfort in their eyes. But Linfen declared he would choose her no matter what. Muyu listened to their conversation, lying down with mixed feelings. Linfen, knowing that she might not be able to procreate, still insisted on mating with her. She couldn't help but admit that her heart was a little moved. It was the first time someone had chosen her so firmly. After the chief left, Muyu slightly squeezed her hands, hidden under the skins. A slightly uncomfortable look appeared. If I really had cubs, would you still want to be with me? Linfen's face instantly darkened, with his eyebrows slightly raised. Why don't you want to mate with me? I just have a bit of a masculine fear. I'm afraid that later you'll regret it. Although she knew from the original owner's memories that after mating, the male gives 100% frequency to females, but they are not objects. They have their own feelings. Muyu still felt a certain uneasiness in her heart. This was the chronic illness she brought from her past life, distrust of volatility. Linfen understood what she hadn't said. Do you have some misunderstanding about the mating mark? Muyu showed a bewildered expression. She hadn't finished reading this Beast World novel, and in the original owner's memories, there was no information about mating either. Linfen sighed and explained in detail. After mating, both the male and female carry the female beast's mark. It can act as a calming effect for irritability. The male's body can also nourish and guarantee 100% loyalty, putting protection first. The male after mating is a heartache. Hearing this, Muyu felt a little more relieved. Linfen stroked her soft hair. So don't worry, I'm mating with you. I won't regret it. Muyu nodded. Her cheeks flushed slightly as she looked at him. Then, do you want to do it now? Linfen hesitated and refused. Not now. Muyu felt confused. Didn't you say you wanted to do it with her? Why are you rejecting her now? Are you playing with her? Linfen, seeing her expectant look, blushed up to his ears. Don't worry, you're too fragile. If we mate now, you wouldn't be able to handle it. Muyu froze. Her face instantly flushed as if it were burning. I'm not impatient. Linfen nodded with a smile in his eyes. Okay, you're not in a hurry. Muyu's face flushed even more. She suddenly picked him up and covered her own face. I'm going to sleep then. Sleep, You're not in a hurry. Muyu temporarily lived in the cave. She waited for winter to pass, then she would follow Linfen to his cave. Winter was very long. The beasts of the tribe took refuge in their respective caves. Except for a few males who would come to ask the old healer to check on their pregnant partners, the one who visited the most was Linfen. It was unknown how many times the long winter had passed, but it had finally ended. Muyu clearly noticed that the climate was getting warmer, and the tribe was also filled with life. Not having bathed during the winter, she could only clean her backside and body with a little water these days. Muyu felt like she was starting to smell bad. The most important thing was that she needed to find fresh food. Eating roasted meat every day, I can't even poop. Sobbing I want to eat vegetables and fruits. Muyu called for the old healer and Linfen, but no one answered. She waited a while. Smelling her own sour stench, she couldn't wait any longer. She got down from the stone bed and, groping along the mountain wall, advanced step by step toward the outside. She mentally negotiated with the system. Could you let me see briefly later? Accepted. 50 points. Only 10 points. If it doesn't work, go choke yourself. No, why don't you follow the script? Who haggles by directly cutting off the main artery? In the end, the system tearfully made a 5-point profit. Wu had just returned from playing outside. Seeing her movements, he hurried to support her. Sister, are you looking for Linfen? They are discussing the spring hunt with the leader. One winter had exhausted most of the tribe's food reserves. Now it was too hot. They also had to prepare to hunt. No, I'm not looking for him. I want to go bathe, Wu's eyes brightened. I know where it is. There's a stream east of the tribe. Do you want me to take you? Muyu felt happy, showing a smile. Of course, thank you. Wu was dazzled by her smile. He couldn't help but murmur to himself, Sister Muyu is really beautiful. I wonder if Sister Muyu will let me be her beast companion. I'm so cute, she's sure to give me a chance. The beasts of the tribe had never seen Muyu. At first glance, they saw a very beautiful female in the tribe. The single males became agitated after a winter. When did such a beautiful female appear in our tribe? She's very pretty. I want to be her beast husband. Little female, do you have a beast companion? They couldn't help but surround Muyu, showing off their muscular torsos and defined 8 packs. If Muyu could see this, it would undoubtedly be a visual feast, but now she was blind and could only distinguish a blurry figure approaching. The scent of the beast man made Muyu pale. She retreated a few steps, frightened. Woohoo! With his hands on his hips, he stood in front of her. She's Linfen's woman, leave it alone. Forget that idea. She's his companion. One of them approached Muyu and sniffed. As expected, I could smell a strong wind scent coming from her, but they're not even a couple yet. Besides, a female must be protected. Linfen will be her first beast husband. I'm sorry. I don't want a second companion yet. The beast man frowned in confusion. He took a few steps toward her. Why? A female needs several husbands to be well taken care of. When he heard a shout that a beautiful and unknown female had appeared in the tribe. I can hunt very well, and I can provide for you. I want to be your companion. Did you ask me, dear? Linfen's cold and haughty voice resonated. The male beasts surrounding Muyu instinctively backed away. He had just finished discussing important matters with the chief when he heard a shout about the appearance of a beautiful, unknown female in the tribe. He thought of Muyu, so he rushed over without stopping. Why do I need your permission? You haven't even formed a couple with her. As long as she agrees, isn't that enough? Muyu grabbed Linfen's fur loincloth and quickly shook her head. I still don't want a third beast husband. Linfen protected her behind him, arrogant and cold. You heard her, she doesn't want you. The deer became sad. He couldn't help but get a little closer to Muyu. Muyu, holding the fur skirt, was totally bewildered. Linfen was throwing his fiery power as if it cost nothing, scorching his fur directly. He hadn't finished speaking when a furious arm threw him out. So much nonsense! Then, Muyu felt the fur skirt she was grabbing completely release from her hand. He turned and walked toward Muyu. Muyu, holding the skirt, was bewildered. Lin was throwing his firepower as if it cost nothing. He directly scorched his fur. His beautiful mane was ruined. The heartbroken deer's claws clutched the remains of his fur. Linfen snorted with disdain. Fighting against him. This lion is still too inexperienced. He turned to Muyu. Muyu, caught off guard, hugged him. Confused and without thinking, she squeezed his very soft and elastic. What a good texture! An electric sensation ran through Muyu's ear, making Linfen stiffen. He almost couldn't help but knock Muyu to the ground. When she tried to touch him again, Linfen quickly returned to his human form. He snatched the fur skirt from her hands and adjusted it for her. With red ears, he growled in a hoarse voice, Where are you going? I'll accompany you. Don't touch me anymore. Muyu withdrew her hand with some regret in her heart. I want to bathe. Linfen lifted her in his arms. I'll take you. Even in human form, Linfen moved with agility. He ran quickly forward, running non-stop toward the small river to the east. On the way, he even found time to return to his cave and bring Muyu a new fur skirt. The males of the tribe, observing the deer's tragic situation, temporarily abandoned the idea of becoming Muyu's companions. Although a female is desirable, one must also the stream near the Liaosui tribe. It is formed by... It's not uncommon for things like this to happen in the tribe. Every year in the hot summers, many females sneak into the water. You will also see me naked when their beast companions notice something is wrong. This is something that females usually use. Muyu nodded. Linfen frowned as he watched her grope the water and approached. Forget it. Let me help you bathe. You could slip and drown in the water. It's not uncommon for this to happen every year in the tribe. When the heat of summer arrives, many females sneak into the water, but she got a leg cramp and was trapped in the water. When their beast companions noticed something was wrong, she already drowned. Muyu's lips twisted. No need, I can do it myself. Just turn around and don't look at me. Linfen, thinking she was embarrassed, said seriously. Don't be afraid. When we join as companions, you will also see me naked. I don't feel comfortable leaving you to bathe alone. Muyu's face was burning. She couldn't accept her own. Her future companion was too delicate. I'm too shy. Yes. She instinctively turned to where Linfen was. Bathe. For someone to look at her while Muyu thought silently. How embarrassing. Linfen couldn't refuse. Resigned, he scratched his head and agreed. She cries for anything. Her future companion is too delicate. He simply sat on a rock with his back to Muyu. Now I'm not looking at you. Wash up. If something happens, call me. Muyu thought silently. System, restore my energy. Then 10 points have been deducted. Vision temporarily restored. 30-minute limit. The mist before her eyes vanished. Muyu's vision gradually cleared. She instinctively looked toward where Linfen was. She had only seen Linfen in his beast form before, so she didn't know what his human appearance was like. She couldn't deny that she felt a certain curiosity. What a shame he was so obedient. When Muyu looked over there, he was sitting with his back to her, cross-legged on a rock. The lower part of his body was covered with a beast skin. His bare back showed perfectly defined dorsal muscles. Just by looking at his silhouette, it was evident that Lin must be attractive. Muyu withdrew her gaze, satisfied, a face that held a certain resemblance to her past life. Who was that disheveled, greasy, sallow-faced, dirty monster looking at her from the water? Muyu felt her world crumble. This was how she had interacted with Linfen. Muyu couldn't tolerate it. She started scrubbing frantically until the system announced that only 10 minutes were left, and then she stopped. The water now reflected her current appearance. This face bore a certain resemblance to her past life, equally fragile, as if it were something that couldn't be touched lightly. After putting on the first skirt, Muyu finally shouted, "I'm ready, Linfen!" He turned and looked at the little female in front of him. His eyes shone with admiration. Snow hair, narrow and elongated eyes, lips red as wine, beautiful as if she were hand-carved. The only imperfect thing was her lifeless eyes. Linfen's gaze fell on her eyes. A little pain in my heart. His body acted faster than his mind. When he came to his senses, he already had Muyu hugged against his chest, using his abilities to carefully dry her hair. Linfen stiffened. Muyu, leaning on his chest, noticed it. Confused by his physical reaction. What's wrong? Nothing. Your hair is dry. I'll take you back to my cave. Just after returning to the cave, Muyu began to burn with fever. Her constitution was already weak in her past life. She couldn't even stand a cold. Even less so now, with the double buff of diseases in the beast world. The combination of fragility from 2 lives turned her into a porcelain doll. She got up with even more impetus. It scared Linfen so much that he quickly ran to find the old healer. When the old healer found out that he had taken her to the stream to bathe, he immediately scolded him furiously. I thought bathing wouldn't harm her. Linfen looked at Muyu, unconscious and burning with fever on the stone bed, feeling a mixture of tenderness and worry. At the same time, there was a small lack of confidence in himself. She is so weak. Will he really be able to support her alone? The other females don't have problems when bathing because they're healthy. You drive me crazy. The single males don't know how to take care of females. The old healer used his healing power to relieve Muyu's pain. Seeing Muyu's frown relax and her face no longer flushed, the old healer withdrew his healing power. Good. Come back later for more medicine and there will be no problem. If you don't want to take medicine, then hurry up and mate. When she receives your mark, her body will be nourished and she will feel much better. Linfen pursed his lips and nodded. He took the old healer back, then hurried back to the cave to take care of the fish. Muyu only felt that her whole body was burning. Even her breath was scorching. She was completely dizzy. When Linfen sat on the stone bed, he brought a fresh relief. Instinctively, Muyu opened her arms and hugged his slim and firm waist, rubbing against his, and Linfen stiffened, not moving, allowing her to continue rubbing and pampering him. The system took the opportunity to tempt Muyu. Take him down quickly, get his beast mark, and you will stop suffering so much. If Muyu were sober, she would never have fallen into his trap. Conscious, she lunged at a man. For her, who had always been single, this was extremely difficult. But now she was conscious, her whole body was burning as if she were on fire. She panted slightly as if moved by supernatural forces. She got up from the stone bed and threw herself into someone's arms. Linfen looked nervously at Muyu. He bent down slowly. Muyu only felt that the heat made her sweat. Dazed, she shooed away the approaching flames. "It's hot, Linfen. Move the fire away a bit." 10 hours later, a black beast mark slowly appeared on her chest. "Congratulations, host. You have formed a couple with Linfen. Reward, 50 points, beginner's gift pack, talent lottery X1. Muyu opened the gift pack. "Din! Congratulations, host. You have obtained 3 fertility pills, 6 tranquilizing strips, toilet paper pack, 5 packets of refined salt, 1 sword that cuts iron like mud." At the same time, Muyu could feel that many things had appeared on the bed. Groping, she grabbed the first thing she found nearby. She discovered that the pajama pants and other items were wrapped in packages. The refined salt also came in cylindrical containers. Although this system is annoying, at least it's efficient. The items in the gift pack are quite useful. Muyu sat on the stone bed, cleaned her hands, and said, almost with devotion, "I want to do the lottery." Din, "Congratulations, host. You have obtained a talent contract. The host can form a pact with strange plants so they serve her. Special ability level, 1 star. As long as she wants, no matter if a 1-star wild beast is willing or not, all will automatically be bound by a soul contract." Wow. Isn't this simply a summoner? She could become powerful and valuable. When someone tries to attack her, she can turn around and summon a group to counterattack. The feeling would be incredibly satisfying. Now the second mission is assigned. Get pregnant with the beast wolf. Reward, 100 points, a 100 cubic meters storage ring, a beauty pill, 1 pill. More generous rewards will be granted after the birth of the cubs. When Muyu saw the storage ring, her already round eyes opened even wider. She was eager to give Linfen cubs at that very instant. Faced with the lure of the storage ring, all shame vanished like smoke. But how to explain all this to Linfen? The host's space can be rented. It can be rented with points without a list of rentals. This damn system just wants to steal her points. Just then, Linfen returned carrying something. His gaze fell on Muyu, completely ignoring the mountain of objects. "Why don't you rest a little more? Do you still feel bad?" He came closer and touched her forehead. He only calmed down when he confirmed she didn't have a fever. He had taken great care of her last night. Linfen didn't sleep all night, watching her condition carefully, fearing she wouldn't make it and would die. Muyu looked up at Linfen, blinking. "Huh? It seems like I can see a little better. Although it's still a blur, this time the color blur isn't so messy. Take a little bit, Linfen." He looked at her, worried that she had gone crazy. He put down the bowl of meat soup and went to look for Jamin. Muyu, coming to her senses, grabbed his arm. "I'm fine. I'm just a little hungry. I want a bowl of meat soup from the chief's partner." Hearing this, Linfen immediately took the still warm bowl and gave it to her. The whole tribe, the meat soup made by the chief's partner, is the most delicious. Muyu barely took a sip and turned to vomit. "This meat broth tastes sour and rancid and has a rotten smell that I can't ignore." Linfen patted her back softly. I took a sip of the broth from my hand. "The taste is normal. How can she not drink it again?" Muyu couldn't stand it anymore. She grabbed the arm that was surprisingly strong. "Are you okay? Let's do it ourselves. Drink another sip of the meat soup from the book. I feel like in the next second, she will go to heaven, mounted on a crane. First, I will make one." Beast males like to eat raw meat. Roasting meat was only done in winter to warm up, let alone stone pots. There is only one orc in the cave that is the best. Linfen found a stone. His hands transformed into wolf claws as he dug the hole with an imposing attitude. Soon, a stone pot was formed under his hands. Muyu tried to describe a simplified version of the stone stove. She had Linfen pile up stones to make a stove and place the pot on top. He lit the firewood. The fruity aroma illuminated the cave. Muyu wanted to prepare something to show Linfen, but as soon as Linfen saw her get up, "Don't move. Tell me how to do it. I'll drink it, I'll do it." Muyu had no choice but to give up. "Use the most understandable liquid possible," she briefly explained the simple method. "First, cut it and set it aside." Then she asked Linfen to look for similar sour fruits. Pressure extraction method. Then, melt the fat to get oil, add a small amount of water. When it boils, add the ingredients. Only add salt. If there were eggs and tomatoes, they could be added. Unfortunately, now there's nothing, so she can only make pure meat soup. Meanwhile, Muyu secretly planned to join the gathering. "I wish I could go out." But if Linfen knew she wanted to go out, he would definitely not let her go. But Muyu has 100 kilos of rebellion. She planned to wait for Linfen to leave to sneakily join the gathering group. Locked in the cave for so long that I'm almost growing mushrooms. While she was daydreaming, it was finally ready. Try it. Do you like the taste? Muyu provocatively took a sip. The warm broth, upon entering, had no strange taste. It only had a little fragrance of fruit. It was so normal that she couldn't help but get teary-eyed. It wasn't easy. I finally ate with a human. The expression on Lin Fen's face changed instantly. Seeing her reddened eyes, he immediately took the bowl away. Don't drink anymore. Everything has become difficult. Hey, don't take it away. Let me have a few more sips. It turns out she didn't cry because it tasted bad. She cried because it was delicious. His face showed a little pride. Behind them, someone appeared out of nowhere and swayed. He just said, how was his food gonna make a female cry because it was so bad? Lin Fen unceremoniously brought the stone bowl to her mouth. If it's delicious, drink more. Muyu, with her teeth clacking, had eyes full of tears. Ouch, my teeth hurt. After the meal, Lin Fen took Muyu to that spot. He prepared a wooden stick for her to guide herself. Then he stroked her hair and gave her a kiss on the eyes. Yes, wait for me. I'll be back tonight. As soon as Lin Fen left, let's wait together, yes? Muyu, unable to contain herself, asked the old healer, Grandma, is there a gathering team in the tribe? Can I go with them? The old healer hesitated. You want to join the gathering team? Muyu nodded. Her delicate face showed a little shyness. I also want to help Lin Fen, Grandma Wu. Don't worry, in my old tribe, I also used to... The gathering team went out together to gather. There are some who don't want to run around. It happened that the tribe's gathering team was passing by the cave. Upon hearing their conversation, Ruin couldn't help but mock. You, a blind female, want to go out to gather? Are you so bored that you want to cause us problems? After throwing her sarcasm, Ruin smelled Lin Fen's intense scent on her. Her expression changed instantly. Pointing at her furiously, she asked, You! Lin Fen is already promised! How dare you form a couple with him? Ruin, watch your attitude. Females of the tribe cannot attack each other. The other females in the gathering group looked curiously at Muyu, who was sitting at the entrance of the cave. Their faces showed admiration, and the male escorts couldn't help but blush. This female is too beautiful. No wonder Lin Fen joined her. After the astonishment, there was only pity. They could notice that Muyu's eyes had a problem. Such a beautiful but disabled female means she is difficult to take care of, difficult to procreate, and easy to die. Although the males desired a female, they would also keep their distance from someone so delicate. Even her mind, unwillingly, followed the thread of her words. She looked at Ruin with an innocent expression. I know Lin Fen, but he just wants to. I also have the right to. Her voice was soft, without a trace of aggression. He's so strong. What infuriated Ruin the most was the words got stuck in her throat. Too frustrating. Muyu smiled. Even her mind began to involuntarily follow her logic. It's true. Muyu is blind and weak. If Lin Fen wants to be with her, she won't even resist. You couldn't refuse. He's so strong. Why me? The words got stuck. Too frustrating to continue. Muyu smiled. She stood up hesitantly and said, I appreciate that the tribe has taken me in, but I don't want to stay here and be a woman who only wants to eat and drink. I want to contribute something. I can join your gathering. I promise to follow your directions. I won't cause you any problems. This time we won't go far. There will be no danger. Ruin looked at Muyu, who was watching her with pleading eyes. The older females instantly softened. They were all young once and know how restless young females are. But Muyu can't see. It's quite sad that she has to stay in the cave all day. A female with some gray hair said kindly, Ruin, let her go with them. This time we won't go far. There will be no danger. Ruin looked at Muyu, who was watching her with pleading eyes. Okay, it's clear from the beginning you can go with the gathering group, but I don't care about you. The gathering groups of each tribe are made up of the tribe's females, cubs, and some other members. They are in charge of gathering wild fruits, vegetables, and edible roots, usable and good fruits to enrich the food of the tribe. The tribe will assign 4 to 6 strong males to follow the gathering group and protect them in the surroundings. This time the gathering point was east of the tribe, precisely where the stream was. Along the way, the older females took good care of her. The beast females had a very keen sense of smell. Knowing that she couldn't see, they would look for edible fruits, let her bring them to her nose and smell them. Follow this scent to find it. Muyu was very grateful to these kind females. She obediently sniffed the sweet fragrance of the fruits, groping to find them. But inside, she continued to haggle with the system. I'll give you 0 points. Guide me to edible plants nearby. The beasts are very perceptive. Muyu didn't dare to ask the system to restore her sight. She could only ask for directions. 5 points is too little. 20, 10 points. 5 points. When you give birth and regain your sight, you won't earn any points. The system acknowledged the logic. Now that the host can't see well, take advantage of everything you can. In front of Muyu's eyes, one head after another slowly appeared. The directions indicated by the arrows even had names marked on them, considerably, like the east row, fruits on the west side, tubers to the north, and the black fruits she was stepping on at that moment. Muyu's eyes shone. Under the guidance of the system, she found those on the ground. Groping, she wove a small basket. In her past life, she supported herself doing manual labor. She had woven all kinds of things countless times. While the other females in the gathering team used pre-made bags, she had no beast skin bag, so she could only make one herself. Although Ruin said she wouldn't take care of her, she actually kept a secret eye on Muyu. Seeing her skillful hands, she was stunned. When she saw her weaving, this female didn't seem as useless as I thought. Ruin hesitated, but she couldn't help but get closer. She looked curiously at what she had in her hands and asked, "What is this?" "I just wove this basket. It can hold fruits and vegetables. Do you want it? I'll give it to you." Ruin hesitated for a moment and instinctively rejected. "Who would want your things?" The words escaped her in an instant. It was all over. Looking at the expression on Muyu's face, biting her lips, she grabbed it with a pull. "You yourself insisted on giving it to me, but it wasn't me who took it. Since you're giving me gifts to curry favor, then I'll reluctantly take you with me to gather delicious red fruits." Muyu nodded, holding back a laugh. "Yes, it was me who insisted on giving it to you." Ruin was happy to hear it. Seeing that Muyu had woven another basket and that hers was still empty, Ruin took her skin bag and started emptying it. She poured wild fruits and vegetables into Muyu's basket. "I don't like these sweet things, or those herbs. You can keep them." Muyu felt warmth in her heart. "Then I thank you, Ruin. You are very kind." Ruin's ears turned red instantly as she murmured in a low voice, "I'm not kind. I just scolded this female because of Linfen, and now it turns out that I'm praising her. This female is so carefree. Can a single male like Linfen protect her?" Muyu still didn't know what Ruin was thinking. She carried a basket and walked groping towards the direction where the earth eggs were. Looking up, Ruin saw Muyu heading west. She ran quickly to intercept her. She was going to tell her, "Don't go, there's water over there." But when she opened her mouth, she said, "What are you doing? Do you want to drown so Linfen hates me?" As soon as those words came out, Ruin regretted it. What a big mouth she has. That's not what I meant. I smelled something I ate before, that's why I wanted to go see. Ruin coughed slightly and replied without thinking, "Tell me directly what it looks like. I'll go get it for you. Isn't that better?" After saying it, she realized, Muyu can't see. She really deserves to die. Muyu didn't mind her words. She smiled and looked around. "No need. I'll go get it myself." Ruin didn't dare to speak and hummed twice. "Then I'll watch over you so you don't fall into the water and drown, so Linfen doesn't. Reproach me for not protecting you well. She really is a complicated girl. Even to worry about someone, she's so clumsy." She kept walking. When she reached the place indicated by the down arrow, Muyu bent down, groped, took one in her hand, and began to dig. Ruin was originally observing from the side, but seeing her clumsiness, she couldn't bear it. "Get out of the way! Leave it to me." "Thank you." "You're welcome." The tips of Ruin's ears turned red. Her hands transformed into wolf claws. She dug with determination for a while and extracted a lump of earth. Ruin fixed her gaze on that lump. It was so big that she couldn't hold it with both hands. "Isn't this? Why are you smelling it?" "Before, it killed a beast man for eating it." Muyu frowned slightly. "Before? They ate the potato directly like this?" She picked up what Ruin had thrown away and smelled it. Muyu understood. "In addition, this potato was so big that she couldn't hold it with both hands." "I told you it was poisonous. Why are you smelling it?" Ruin rushed forward to snatch the tuber from Muyu. She snatched it from her hand and threw it away. "Before, they ate it raw." "Yes, like a sweet fruit directly." Muyu understood it. "Then it's not strange that they were poisoned. Eating it raw makes the blood clot, causes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. In severe cases, the wound can open. Tubers are only poisonous when eaten raw. After roasting and cooking, yes." Ruin didn't believe it much. She harbored some doubts. "Seriously? You're not deceiving me, are you?" "Why would I deceive you? When I was hungry in the tribe before, I used to go out and dig and then roast what I found to eat. If they were poisonous, I would already be dead." Ruin reacted late. If these tubers are properly stored, they can last up to 60 days. Ruin's eyes instantly shone. Her wolf ears and tail suddenly appeared and shook violently. Are you telling the truth? If these tubers last so long, the tribe won't go so hungry in winter. The shaking wolf tail brushed against Muyu. Muyu moved her hand and couldn't help but grab it to pet it. She nodded seriously. It's true. If you're afraid it's poisonous, wait for me to boil it and show you by eating it. If it's not poisonous, come and dig again. Ruin blushed and quickly withdrew her tail. Don't be rude to me. I understand. I already know. First, I'll go get the tubers. She trotted back happily with the tubers she had thrown away before. She kissed them as if they were a treasure. She carefully stored them. She meticulously placed them in their place. For beastmen, food is the most important thing. It's their very life. Discovering a food that can be stored means one less death in winter. If the tubers are really not poisonous, then you are the salvation of our tribe. I will not compete with you for Linfen again. I will also tell everyone about this. Let them reward you. Perhaps the tubers affected Ruin, because since then she hasn't separated a single step from Muyu. She followed her everywhere like a little shadow. Under Muyu's intentional guidance, Ruin discovered several more types of edible fruits and herbs. She was so excited that she became clingy. There was no longer any trace of her initial attitude. She had been there for a while. After all the females, skin bags were bulging. They were just getting ready to return. Lily, the pincers caught her hand. The stinging pain in her fingers made Muyu's eyes redden. Groping, she washed her dirty fingers. Suddenly, she touched something hard. That seemed to move. A stone? A warm reminder. Please quickly remove your hand otherwise. At the next second, what she was holding moved. Click! Her hand was pinched. The stinging pain in her fingers made her eyes redden. She couldn't help but shout, "Damn, what a mistake! This is fucking crazy, Linfen!" After hunting, he went looking for Muyu. As soon as I arrived, I saw Muyu squatting by the stream, frantically shaking the crab that had her trapped. Linfen rushed over and threw the crab away. He used fire to warm her up. Linfen nervously checked the area where she had been pinched. "Muyu, are you okay?" Ruin, who had just arrived, couldn't contain herself. She held her stomach and burst out laughing. "Oh, how can you be so weak? Even the cubs can defeat the octagonal beast, and you can't." Linfen turned his head and looked at her coldly. When he looked down and saw Muyu's fingers bleeding, he put her finger in his mouth. At that moment, Muyu couldn't take it anymore. At that moment, Muyu couldn't stand it anymore. Also, she perceived a fragrant aroma. She pulled on Linfen's fur loincloth and looked at him with pleading eyes. "Help me catch the octagonal beast and the fish. I want to eat them." The octagonal beast and the fish have a lot of thorns, little meat, and they smell bad. Why eat them? Although he complained, he still followed Linfen. He entered the water to fish and catch crabs. In a short time, he caught quite a few. Linfen, Muyu, following the rules, handed over a portion of the herbs and vegetables gathered today. He frowned and left without saying anything. Muyu hesitated for a moment, but she followed him. Muyu stopped Linfen, who was about to go out to look for meat. "Are you angry?" With a severe expression, he threw some tubers in front of Linfen, when suddenly a commotion was heard outside the entrance. A voice full of anger was heard. A flash of irritation appeared on Linfen's face. "Come out right now!" A look of disgust crossed Linfen's face. He frowned and left without saying anything. Muyu hesitated for a moment, but she followed him. A lot of water had accumulated outside the cave. They were led by a tall, square-faced beast man, who with a severe gesture, threw some tubers in front of Linfen. "What does it mean that your female brings these poisonous things to the tribe? Does she want to kill the women of our tribe?" Suddenly, a group of tall and robust beasts massively surrounded the entrance. Although Muyu couldn't see clearly, observing these blocks of fuzzy colors, she also felt a certain sense of oppression. If some inexperienced cub or female eats them, Lynx had been watching her movements. Seeing her retreat, did she come to harm our tribe on purpose? Without waiting for Linfen to speak, "What do you mean? I'm the one who should be asking you. What do you and your people intend? Didn't you know that tubers are poisonous and you still collected them? If the ignorant little cubs and little females eat them, what will we do if they die from poisoning? Our tribe took her in out of kindness, and she tries to harm us on purpose." Without waiting for Linfen to respond, Ruin exploded furiously. "Duanmu, don't accuse her falsely. Muyu never had that intention. I told you clearly a moment ago that she knows how to eliminate the poison. You didn't listen to my explanations, and you brought people to confront her. Are you a real male?" "If I wasn't a real male, I wouldn't have come directly with the tubers. You say she has a solution for the poison, then let her do it. If she can really neutralize the poison, then I will willingly become her second companion. It's not that I don't know. The weak and blind female that Linfen picked up has no value at all. He already understood what had caused the discussion. Raising that male as if he were a treasure. A female weak from birth like her will not attract any other beast man. For him to say that is already too generous. The dear Dilu who had just approached couldn't help but exclaim upon hearing it, "Damn, you're a cunning guy. You actually came up with such a cruel way to enter Muyu's lair." Upon hearing this, Muyu already understood what had caused the discussion. She gently pulled on Linfen's fur loincloth and slowly came out from behind him. "Don't even dream of it. I don't want a companion as malicious as you. You look down on me. I also despise a disabled female like you." Linfen put on a cold expression. He transformed into a beast and frantically transported water. His huge claws completely immobilized him against the ground. How dare they accuse his female of infidelity? Duanmu also turned into a gray wolf. The two males began to fight in front of the cave entrance. The beast spectators burst into cheers. As beasts, they still retained that primitive instinct deep down. Seeing them locked in combat, Muyu, unable to see, could only be protected by Ruin. She was sheltered at the entrance, helpless and anxious. Moments later, a howl resonated, accompanied by a jet of icy water. Linfen and Duanmu, in the middle of a fight, were instantly soaked like wet chickens. The chief held them with his claws. He gave them an exasperated look. "Did you? Fighting in front of so many females? Don't you fear scaring them?" Duanmu, with his tail between his legs, complained in a piteous voice. "Leader, I'm also thinking about the cubs and females of the tribe. Those earth eggs have always been dangerous." "And you have the nerve to say it? Ruin already told me. She explained it to you. But you didn't listen?" Frustrated, he gave him another claw strike, as if he wanted to mold crude iron into steel. "Looking for trouble? Do you feel very powerful?" "Huh?" Duanmu didn't dare to say a word. This is not a sexual problem. He's clearly looking for a fight. He also knew it. Linfen is in the tribe now. Looking for trouble with him would not be, but messing with his female is another thing. He thought that Linfen would endure for that female and swallow his pride, even make some compensation to the tribe. But who knew he would still be so firm? The chief scolded them a few more words and ordered them to return to their human form. When Linfen returned to Muyu, she anxiously checked his body. "Aren't you hurt?" Linfen couldn't bear her caresses. The ears and tail that were originally hidden appeared again. He quickly grabbed her small, soft hand. "I'm fine. But if I let her continue touching, there could be problems." Duanmu rolled his eyes and said to Muyu, "Hey, now show us how you're going to make this tuber." Muyu withdrew her hand that was furtively touching his abs. With a serious expression, she said, "If I really have a method to eliminate the poison from the tuber, you have to apologize to me and to Linfen." "Okay, but you will have to eat the prepared tuber. Only then can I be sure that the method you say is real." He didn't believe that the female Linfen found was really so capable of being able to eliminate the poison. Now he would have the opportunity to see Linfen's ridicule. Muyu immediately accepted. "Okay, Linfen." Worried, he grabbed Muyu's hand. "Okay, no. It's not that I don't believe her." Because he had seen with his own eyes the beast men devouring. Muyu gently patted the back of his hand. She smiled. "Trust me, okay? I don't know how to do what you ask." Seeing her smile, Linfen's heart instantly trembled. Okay, at most he himself would eat what she prepared. If there was poison, only he would suffer the consequences. Muyu had no. She asked Ruin to bring part of the potatoes they had unearthed today, place them in the cleared ground where the tribe usually gathers. Then she directed Linfen to build a rudimentary stove. She placed the stone pot on the rock supports. Muyu planned to make the simplest, sweet and sour stir-fried potatoes. Of course. She didn't find chilies, but next to the stream, she found thorny fruits and sour fruits. The thorny fruits had a slight spicy flavor. They could serve as a substitute. Muyu couldn't do it herself. She limited herself to directing Ruin from the side. First, clean the eggs, then cut into thin and uniform strips. A simple dish is ready. Soak the potato threads for 10 minutes. This helps to eliminate oxidation and prevents the potatoes from turning black, keeping them crispier. After 10 minutes, she drained the potato threads. Then Linfen boiled water. Put the grated eggs in the pot and blanch them. Finally, he used the pork fat to get oil. He put the potato threads in and stir-fried them quickly. At the end, he added fruit and thorn juice. He seasoned. A simple dish is ready. This process attracted the attention of the tribe. Many females and cubs noticed. Some gluttonous females couldn't help but swallow saliva. Others looked greedily at the potato threads that were still in the pot. "It smells incredible. I don't know if she will let me try a little later." Duanmu was in the crowd with a somber face. He couldn't help but feel suspicions inside. Are potatoes prepared like this really no longer poisonous? It's not impossible. Amu also ate potatoes before, but he still died after eating them. Muyu mentally counted the cooking time of the potato strips. Only after making sure they were well cooked did she ask Lin Fen to serve them. They had barely been plated, and before Muyu could try them, Lin Fen took the initiative and put a handful in his mouth. The intense spicy flavor instantly spread through his mouth. Lin Fen's pale face instantly flushed. He clutched his neck with a frown, looking clearly affected. And Duanmu, with shining eyes, pointed at Lin Fen and shouted, "See? I told you!" The beast men present were alarmed to see Lin Fen suffering. "Potatoes are indeed poisonous! That female wants to kill Lin Fen!" The chief reacted immediately and ran towards Lin Fen to hit his back hard. "Spit it out quickly!" But if he is the most powerful warrior of his tribe, it would be a great loss if he died from being poisoned by a simple earth egg. Duanmu shouted with arrogance, "I already said that this earth egg was poisonous. You have to believe her instead of me. Now look what happened. Lin Fen is going to lose his life because of this stupid female." He pointed at Muyu, who was confused. "Chief, such an evil female cannot stay in our tribe. Throw her out! Get her out!" The other beasts chanted in unison. "Throw her out!" Hearing that Lin Fen was in danger, Muyu's heart stirred for an instant. She quickly approached, groping to open Lin Fen's mouth. "Lin Fen, spit it out!" But Lin Fen had already swallowed the remains of the egg. He panted with difficulty while holding her restless little hands. His lips trembled as he spoke to the beasts. "The ground egg silk is not poisonous. If it wasn't poisonous, why would you feel so bad? If it wasn't poisonous, why would your mouth swell? Lin Fen, if you want to protect your female." So spicy that his whole mouth was now burning. It was because the taste of the thorny fruit was too intense. So spicy that his whole mouth was now burning. Upon hearing this, Muyu felt her heart return to its place. She only said, "The system registered edible things. How could it be poisonous?" He was between doubt and belief. "You're not lying to protect your female, are you?" The chief is not the only one who doesn't believe it. The other beastmen don't either. After all, Lin Fen's expression of agony and red ears had deeply impacted them. Lin Fen, with a serious face, swore an oath. "I swear by myself that I am not lying." "I'm sorry. I didn't make it clear right now. I should have let you try the earth eggs first." Lin Fen's heart darkened as he held her hand. "How can you blame yourself for this? It was me who... It's all my fault for being too. I couldn't resist the irritation caused by the thorny fruit, and that's why they scolded you." She let out an ironic laugh. "How can it be her fault? She didn't make it clear beforehand." But she didn't say more. To prevent Duanmu from continuing to chatter and to dispel the suspicions of the others, Muyu did not let Lin Fen continue eating the spicy egg noodles. Instead, she herself took a large. Then she took out the roasted earth eggs, and after eating them, she said to the beasts, "I have eaten both now. If I don't die from poisoning, that will prove that the earth eggs prepared like this are not poisonous." Duanmu snorted coldly and said, "If you die, we will not help you give birth." Lin Fen showed his fangs. "Duanmu, do you want to die? Silence! First, let's see if the earth eggs are not poisonous. That shows that we have more things to eat. Passing this time will give us more security." The other beast beings waited patiently until everyone fell. However, Muyu, who had eaten the earth egg, showed no reaction. She even seemed completely relaxed. Dilu also couldn't resist and approached to secretly try it. His handsome face showed a hint of pleasure. The beast spectators couldn't help but swallow saliva. When Muyu touched it, she thought it was from Lin Fen. She stealthily took a small one. She put the egg in her mouth. The sweet and sour taste exploded on her palate. Her eyes immediately shone. How delicious! What a delicacy! Delu also couldn't resist and approached to try it. He even stealthily peeled another earth egg. He silently passed the egg to Muyu. When Muyu touched it, she thought it was from Lin Fen. Just as she was about to accept it, she heard Lin Fen's cold voice. "Are you planning to take Dilu as your second beast husband?" Muyu trembled slightly. "No, then why do you accept the food he gives you?" Muyu opened her eyes with effort. Only then did she manage to distinguish between the spots of color that it was Lin Fen. Dilu looked at Lin Fen with resentment. "You're too cruel, Lin Fen," he snorted. He put the well-peeled and roasted meat in Muyu's hands. "I'll peel and eat." Seeing that they were eating with delight, Bai and the other beastmen couldn't resist. One after another, they joined the group to eat. Duanmu opened his eyes wide, seeing Muyu living peacefully before his eyes. He murmured in disbelief, "How is this possible? Roasted tubers are also poisonous." Muyu moved her ears and looked directly at where Duanmu was. Is the egg poisoned? Duanmu, I ate the cooked egg. 2. Duanmu gritted his teeth and coldly let out a, sorry. Duanmu clenched his fists tightly and stood rigid in his place. He pressed his lips together, unable to say a word. Kabuta sighed and looked at Muyu with apologies. He instantly fell in love with its crispy and refreshing texture. He looked at Duanmu and said seriously, Duanmu actually doesn't have bad intentions. Apologize to Muyu right now. Duanmu gritted his teeth and let out a dry, sorry. Then he turned around, transformed, and fled. The beastmen who had previously insulted Muyu also felt ashamed. They all competed for her favor. Kabuta sighed and looked at Muyu with remorse. I'm sorry. Duanmu actually doesn't have bad intentions. His mother and younger sister died from poisoning from eating wild potatoes during a winter. That's why when he saw the potatoes you brought, his reaction was so strong. It's... Muyu smiled, a little uncontrollably. She didn't believe Kabuta's words. She wasn't stupid. On the contrary, due to her fragile health for years, she was very sensitive to good and evil. She could feel the intense evil in Duanmu. He admired and hated Linfen. The Earth eggs were just an excuse to attack. If Ruin hadn't said today that the eggs were hers, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. But she could understand Kabuta. As a leader, his thoughts were complex. You didn't make it difficult for him. He calmly changed the subject. Chief, about the new thing that can be eaten. Will there be a reward? Dra, I'm sorry. Yes, hello. Today, the hunting team killed 2 adult porcupines, some bleeding beasts, and long-eared beasts. I've decided. I will divide the pig beast and give half to your family. I will give you half of the Mimi beasts and 2 long-eared beasts. How is this reward? It's quite generous for beastmen. Muyu accepted it very gladly. Seeing that she accepted, the chief became even happier and felt relief in his heart. Fortunately, Linfen's women are not petty or vengeful women. Otherwise, I really wouldn't know how to mediate between her and the tribe. If it's because of today's study, Linfen and the tribe will end up as enemies, it would be terrible. Happy. Go, he ordered the hunting team. Bring us some of today's catch, light a big bonfire, and let the beastmen eat until they are full. The tribe was suddenly filled with hustle and bustle. Muyu, with her visual impairment, did not participate in roasting the meat. Instead, she obediently and docilely sat where Linfen placed her, on a large rock, letting him feed her. Dailu took advantage of Linfen going for more meat to approach hesitantly. Muyu, do you really not plan to take another husband? I have one. How can it be enough to only have Linfen as a husband? He is clumsy. Today he even made them scold you. He is clumsy and careless. I am more careful than him. Besides, I have a mouth. I'm still part of the tribe. I can definitely support you. Oh, he didn't finish speaking. I felt my buttocks were big. Turning around, he saw his butt. It had a big hole burned by the fire. Look up again, Linfen. He approached with a somber face, carrying beast meat in his hands. Dilu, are you looking for trouble, huh? You dared to take advantage of his absence to speak ill of him to the women. Dailu shuddered and ran away immediately. Ruin pointed at the now hairless Dilu and laughed out loud. Muyu also couldn't help but smile. This noisy commotion was heard very far away. Downstream, in front of the tribe, a Liasu from out of the turbid mud suddenly emerged. His eyes were as big as bronze bells. His mouth opened in a terrifying smile. That sweet aroma coming from upstream, he swam slowly. Finally, it stopped on the shore where Muyu had been. The enormous crocodile transformed into a tall and beautiful figure. His cold and cruel eyes revealed his violent nature. Naked, he sniffed the shore. He perceived Muyu's blood spilled when she hurt her finger, drops that had fallen on the stone. His pupils instantly became vertical. His mouth opened in a terrifying smile. Water Tribe, another new female has arrived. This time, she is to my liking. I must find a way to keep her. Meanwhile, after the banquet, Muyu listened to the beastmen rolling around in the grass. The sound made her blush. She could no longer continue eating the roasted meat. Linfen noticed her discomfort. His eyes shone with determination. He approached her, picked her up, and walked towards the cave. Linfen paused, holding back his anger and jealousy. Muyu. Linfen silently placed Muyu on the stone bed. Were you angry today? Angry at being useless? Muyu felt a little lost. She had never had a relationship before. She didn't know how to handle this situation. In her moment of panic, she was suddenly hugged tightly. I was angry, but I wasn't angry with you. I was angry with myself. I'm angry for being useless, for not being able to give you security. Even though it's obvious that you don't have good health, you still worry about the food at home. I also got angry for not resisting the irritation of the thorny berries and making them scold you. Linfen paused, containing his and jealousy. Muyu, you should accept a few more. You don't have good health. I'm afraid I can't take good care of you alone. He believed that Muyu, surely before she had eaten poisonous heads, that's why, slowly, her food, her little treasure, surely she had a lot before. He didn't want to make her suffer anymore, even if that meant giving her to another male. It didn't matter. As long as there was a small place for him in her heart, it was enough. Muyu, hearing this, she felt her heart stirred and bitter. Fool, what beast companion would push his female towards others? Muyu paused. She looked up and looked seriously at the creature in front of him. The wolf, who, since their first encounter, had been so good to her, he still looked for beast companions. No, I don't want my beastly destiny. I'm still looking for companions, but now, I only want you. Muyu knew that in this world where she now lived, to completely cure the ailments of her body, she would need several beast companions. But he still believed in monogamy, and for now, he could not accept a second companion. Linfen didn't expect to hear Muyu. He was frozen for an instant, and his face instantly blushed. He smiled for an instant. His ears and tail came out uncontrollably. His back tail couldn't help but move. Seriously? He thought that Muyu had joined him out of obligation because at that moment she was too sick. So Muyu nodded firmly and with determination. That night, Muyu listened all night to Linfen's confessions to her. Linfen, unable to contain his joy, he released Muyu from an embrace, turned into a colorful race outside the mountain. He howled several times, "Ow! Ow!" until from afar came the shout of Akba. "Why are you shouting so much at this hour of the night? Go back to your cave and howl to your female." She buried herself in silence inside the bee skin. Is there some love? No. That night, Muyu listened all night to Linfen's declarations of love for her and felt how intense his feelings were. Grapefruit, the consequences of doing silly things are like what happened to Muyu. Her fragile body burned in fever again. Not only did her waist hurt, but it was also swollen. Linfen, desperate, carried her on his back and ran to look for the elder Wunji. The elder Wunji severely scolded her again. What beast female would do something like that after the act? What a shame for our species. This time, Muyu obediently stayed with the elder Wuji, waiting here for Linfen to return from hunting. Just when Muyu had nothing to do, screams suddenly resonated in the tribe. Muyu's heart tensed. Suddenly, what happened? Xian didn't answer. He covered his ears. A moment after shouting at the top of his lungs, he finally turned to Muyu, saying with urgency, the hunting group was attacked by rogue beasts. Sister, stay in the cave and don't run. I'm going to bring them back. As soon as he finished speaking, the black bear turned into a brown bear and quickly fled. Muyu's face instantly paled. The hunting team was attacked by rogue beasts. And what about Linfen? Is he okay? Rogue beasts are nomadic tribes of the beast world, or are beasts expelled from their tribes for committing atrocious crimes. Their bodies are plagued by impurities from residual crops. Most of them are violent and cruel. Most of the existence, Muyu clenched her fists. In the system store, she bought all the herbs with hemostatic and anti-inflammatory properties. She knew that going out now would be the only thing she could do was prepare the medicines. Only then did Muyu truly understand how uncomfortable her blindness was, and she bitterly regretted her past negligence. If she had, Linfen once fell and got pregnant with his cub. Or maybe he ate the fertility pill during the mating ceremony. Maybe his eyes had already been healed for a long time. He appeared out of nowhere in the cave. Outside the cave, just at that moment, urgent screams were heard. Shi Wang Wang! The elder Buzi scolded Shi Wang Wang. Luofeng and the others were wounded by the waves. Come with me quickly to save them. The beasts who came to look for the elder Buzi were Luofeng's two brothers. Only after shouting did they realize that something was wrong. There is no smell of the mother-in-law in the cave. Muyu felt a weight on her chest and stumbled out, groping the way. The elder Buzi went out today with the gathering team to look for medicinal herbs. Buxiong already went to look for her. Luai, hearing this, felt that the sky was falling on him. Then, what do we do? Seeing this, the two brothers turned around to leave. Wait! Muyu turned and entered the cave to take what she had exchanged, and came out, hugging the package against her chest. She came out stumbling and staggering. Take me with them! I'll bandage them a little. I can help stop the bleeding first. Let them hold on until the grandmother returns. Yes. She clearly can't see. How can she bandage them and give them medicine? I can bandage even if I can't see. Before, when I got hurt, I bandaged myself in the tribe. Besides, now you should also rest. If they are injured and don't wait for Grandmother Goofy to return, they will die. But I still have time. If you don't trust me, I can do it in front of you. A prolonged illness makes the doctor. Muyu got sick so many times in her past life that to recover her health, she literally forged herself as a semi-expert in traditional medicine. Louis remembered those who were still bleeding nonstop. Gritting his teeth, he transformed into a beast and carried Muyu on his back. Carrying her on his back, he ran to the open space in the center of the tribe. At that moment, the clearing in the center of the tribe was crowded with people. Everyone was injured. Some eyes were injured, others with pieces of flesh torn from their backs. Duanmu, even half of his intestines were showing from the wound. His breathing was weak and short. The beast, men around the tiger showed expressions of pain. Everyone knew that such a serious wound would have no cure. For HB, Linfen, who was next to the tiger, was also hurt, cold, and afflicted. Hiroi hit Duanmu, who was cowering to the side, shouting with rage. I told you there was something suspicious in that area. Hiroi hit Duanmu, who was cowering to the side. Why did you insist on hunting there? If it wasn't for rescuing you, HB wouldn't be so badly injured. He wasn't prepared. Duanmu stumbled back after the punch. Aware of his guilt, he didn't say anything. This time it was really his mistake. If it wasn't because he insisted on not putting himself, wanting to hunt on his own, they would not have been attacked by the beasts. Their expressions changed instantly. He didn't want other beast beings to be injured because of him. Duanmu lowered his head and said, Muyu, what are you doing here? The chief, with a distressed expression, shouted loudly, Enough! Stop fighting! Is this a time for internal conflicts? Quickly go look for the Elder Wuji. They're coming! Luigi has returned. When they saw Muyu on Luigi's back, their expressions changed instantly, and the Elder Wuji, Linfen, paled and quickly approached to get Muyu down. Muyu, what are you doing here? Hearing his voice, Muyu's agitated heart calmed down immediately. She quickly handed something to Linfen. These are herbs that can stop bleeding and inflammation. Grind them up and apply them to the wound to stop the bleeding. When Linfen saw the herbs in her arms, his face instantly darkened. Today you went out again with the hunting group. Why is this female so disobedient? Now is not the time to talk about this. Bring the cloth. She ordered him to use his special energy to sterilize it. He crushed it and made it into powder. Then he applied it to the wound of the injured. He thought that these medicinal herbs were Linfen's. He didn't say anything, so he suspected. The wound on Wolf's leg, even after applying the ointment, the blood was still gushing out. Muyu acted with decision and asked Linfen to bring the cloth. She ordered him to use his special energy to sterilize it with heat and then suture it. In front of the doubts of the others, she briefly explained, If we close the wound before applying the medicine, it will stop bleeding. Linfen didn't say anything. He followed her instructions with skill and sutured the wound on Wolf's leg. Then he applied the ointment again. Finally, the blood stopped. Muyu could handle simple wounds, but she couldn't treat serious injuries like HBs. While Muyu considered whether to ask for point credit, the scare snatched a Linfen. With an impassive face, he carried her in his arms. Come with me. The Elder Wuji didn't have time to ask who had brought the medicine before Muyu could speak, applying her healing energy to the wounds. Muyu sighed with relief, knowing that she no longer had to worry. It was the first time someone had hit her there. Her body was lifted with a jolt, scaring her to scream. Linfen held her with a cold and rigid expression. Come with me. Once back in the cave, Muyu didn't even have time to speak. Slap. A slap on her butt. She had been hit. She had lived so many years. It was the first time someone had hit her there. How embarrassing. Her face burned scarlet, struggling desperately to protect her butt. Linfen didn't say anything, and with a cold face gave her 2 more slaps. The first was for having continued running without permission. The next 2 were because he discovered that her butt was quite soft. He couldn't resist and gave her another 2 slaps. Muyu was on the verge of tears. She struggled and grabbed his hand. No more! My butt is going to swell! Linfen's face froze. He hadn't used much force, but remembering Muyu's fragile and delicate body, he worriedly lifted her skin skirt to check carefully. Muyu only felt a sudden coldness. Her face turned even redder. She thrashed in Linfen's arms like a fish. Linfen held her with ease. He lowered the skin skirt he had lifted. It's only a little red. There is no swelling. He passed his hands under her armpits. It's like a puppy. He slides up and looks her face to face. Do you know you're wrong? She also couldn't say that she had taken them from his cave. When he saw the medicinal herbs in Muyu's arms, his heart filled with worry. Lately, there have been traces of rogue beasts near the tribe. Lin Fen was furious. He thought, what would happen if Muyu were captured by the rogue beasts? He was sick. Muyu covered her butt and pursed her lips. She couldn't say that those medicinal herbs were obtained from the system. She also couldn't say that she had taken them from his cave. She is exposed. She could only speak with tears in her eyes. I'm not wrong. Lin Fen was furious but couldn't bear to say a harsh word to her. He could only grab her tightly and kiss her. 10 days later, Muyu could finally go out. Today she has to accompany Shibei and Ruin. The smoke goes to the salt exchange market. All the way, Ruin was chatting with her. It turns out that the meetings of the Beast World only happen in these 2 seasons. After winter, every 10 days, the surrounding tribes will meet in the Red Flower Valley. They will display what their tribes can offer and exchange with other tribes to get what they want. Upon understanding the rules of the market, Muyu frowned. All the nearby tribes will come? Then it's not likely to run into members of that tribe? Muyu did not feel sympathy for most of the members of that beast tribe. The character of the original owner is really dark and calculating, but most of the beasts in that tribe were not good either. They often said hurtful things in front of the original and snatched what she had painstakingly achieved. The females of that tribe were not as kind as others either. Harassment and humiliation were common. If this encounter doesn't end well, Lin Fen. He noticed the change in Muyu's mood and asked her worriedly, "What's wrong? Are you tired?" Muyu shook her head. After thinking about it, she replied, "At this meeting, we might run into beasts from my old tribe. They are not friendly." "What are you afraid of?" Until they finally arrived at the Red Flower. Lin Fen stopped. He turned his head and looked at her seriously. "We will make them fly." Lin Fen, he looked at her calmly, comforting her. "Don't be afraid. I am here. For me, you will never be a problem." Muyu's cheeks blushed slightly. She murmured something unintelligible. Understood. A child who grew up alone always feared that his eyes were a burden to others. Lin Fen stopped and looked at her seriously. "Muyu, listen carefully. What I'm afraid of is that not you cause me problems. For me, you will never be a problem." Muyu's cheeks blushed slightly. Embarrassed, she hid her face in his fur. Understood. They spent half a day running, laughing, and joking. She finally arrived at the Red Flower. In the Red Flower Valley, many tribes had already set up the products of their own tribes. Lin Fen found their assigned place. He put Muyu down, who had barely stabilized when a surprised voice sounded behind them. "You're Muyu! Surprisingly, you haven't died.